A chuirde goimiste nu a chord cmóra céad blion ó deire an chéad cogad damda. Goimish I gwyfna na marv, anam na hernig agus na melún era, a gwydach sel agus baha uha, sa céad cogad damda, cogad amidach I plúlach a bhiawn. Goimish siachan na siríorha, ach nís móna sin, siasamid son na siachan nu, agus deire a chorla cogia an dawn ilig. Nu, Togamish Katrina, Minter Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, agus Palestine, Concrevna. Tira, Ohos Christa, Fyn I Brúl agus Ciana, is as Christa gan Orab, Cian Blian o hyn. Convedilish doin fein, agus doi siŵd o fwr bos, y rehan Cian Cogodawnda, Kamish Shasam ar son na Shikana yn nhw. Cillian Shin, Gahamid, or Nodragus a Chosant, agus Ikin Du. Kamisht, Irias Pesco, agus Irach Di, Adam Nua Orpach of Anu. Gahamid, Adam America, a Karamachas Airport na Shunana. Gahamid Shahayanov, a Waha the Shiachan a Cousin, agus a Waha the Tlunta, a half in Baggart Kiana Anu. Mona Shasamir son Shiachana, Nil Onig ach Faimanach. Mona Shasamir son Shiachana, is Masla Anya, a Kailach Rehan Kate Cogodawnda. Ni Feder, Shasam Os Kor Lacht, Erebil Skriafa, they died for the freedom of small nations. Nor ha Isagain, Gur Breag Clan, a Makasamach and Maidson. Morwell Fearinga and Kate Cogodawnda on ancient again, Ken size almost, or has spawned doing, just the Mariv. Motherless Shimbalacus, a Hanu saw the new. Ni Fader, for her son Shiachan, agus Papine, the Queen Royal British Legion of Cahav. Is smaller to Kayla and Papine, agus and Shiachan. Usotter and Papine, Contaki of the Hort, the Aram Sassana no. Aram Mahogany of Foes is Syria agus Yemen. Buyakas the deer, the rare survey a Hogok Shafton o hin. Ni Glachan mind in the hair nation Papine. No own tradition, ni or tradition. Ta Lochan and Nis Far, agus Nis Del Lahi a Ginga, agus Glachan Octa Fingate the mind in the hair nation. Lyrian and Papine, almost. The cover in the Frid Sassnig, or got cover in the Frid Sassnig, or Tus Amma. Fjobon, and Skrista Reneder and saw the line cover the Sirsha, and as the Blianta Bioga knows, and Tus Gardair. Friends, on the 100th anniversary of the ending of World War I, in bringing to mind the victims of that war, we must ask what was it all for? We must tell the truth about that war. The dead of World War I didn't make a sacrifice on anybody's behalf. They were the sacrifice. They were the sacrifice in the service of prophets. World War I was an inter-imperialist war, instigated and planned by Imperial England for many years prior to 1914. The war was to defeat the rising economic and military rival in Europe, Germany. Britain carefully plotted and set both Russia and France against Germany. And in the end, Britain continued to lead the imperial world and to rule the seas and therefore also world trade. They had muted any serious opposition to their imperialist plunder. Our own Roger Casement wrote about the planning of World War I before it even started. He showed how it was unavoidable, preparations having been put in place well ahead of the outbreak of war and the pretext used to begin it. We recommend people to read Casement's work, a short series of essays entitled The Crime Against Europe. Reading Casement, it is easy to understand why Britain wanted so badly to kill him and to blacken his good name. The war was not fought for the freedom of small nations. Imagine such a claim made by the British Empire, the biggest threat to national freedom the world has ever known. The British Empire dared to ask Irishmen to fight its war on a pretext of offering us national freedom, but it was a lie. The repetition of that lie by John Redmond, along with the efforts of Edward Carson, resulted in the deaths of over 35,000 Irishmen and the maiming of tens of thousands more. History condemns these warmongers and national traitors that they were. But the British Empire didn't just ask Irishmen to join their war, they passed legislation to have us conscripted. However, the national movement at the time resisted and conscription could not be enforced. But economic-driven conscription did apply. James Connolly described it as, quote, the policy of forcing men into the army by depriving them of the means of earning a livelihood. Connolly's banner, hung over Liberty Hall, addressed the issue and the crisis in Europe at that time. We have the same slogan with us here today and are very proud to display it. We serve neither king nor Kaiser, but Ireland. It is not possible to respect the memory of the victims of World War I unless we address the issue of war in modern times. Here are some pointers. For many decades now, wars have resulted in a lot more civilian than military casualties, and millions of men, women and children are forgotten during official Remembrance Day ceremonies. For the 5th consecutive year, the total number of persons displaced by war, ongoing violence and persecution continues to rise and reach over 68 million people. Now, on Garda Síochána, would you please keep the peace if you don't mind? Please keep the peace if you don't mind. Good. Alright, as our Shneel Everdal. Okay, for the 5th consecutive year, the total number of persons displaced worldwide by wars, ongoing violence and persecution continues to rise. Today, over 68 million people are displaced. With the EU's increased militarism, with PESCO, and in cooperation with NATO, our own military budget is due to increase by up to 3 billion euros every year. It's money to be spent on the creation of technology to kill people. Given our long-standing support for neutrality and our non-participation in aggressive military alliances and our respect for the founding principles of the United Nations, which excludes violence as the means to resolving international disputes, we must not accept the glorification of war or wear its symbols. We should reaffirm our commitment to Ireland and to peace. Our government and official remembrance ceremonies now promote the poppy in Ireland. Also its variation, the shamrock poppy, donned today shamefully by our Taoiseach. Remember, the Royal British Legion offers support to all British armed forces, including the people who turned their guns on the rebels in Dublin in 1916, including those who shot our leaders, Pearson, Connolly and the rest of them. It even commemorates the soldiers who burned Cork City. It remembers the people who murdered our Lord Mayors. Imperialist war is wrong today, just as it was wrong in World War I. Unless we tell the truth, then we are creating the space for more war. Let's get organised to defend Ireland's neutrality and our anti-imperialist tradition. We should leave PESCO and the EU army. We should stop the US using Shannon Airport. We should not glorify war. Éireann go bragh.